just even acknowledge what we were doing for the world and taking on Iran. I never considered it very risky, but war is always risk. You know, a lot of strange things happen in war that are very bad, but I didn't consider it. I know how great I'm. We're the greatest military by far. Anywhere there was nobody close. I didn't think there was a big risk, but there's always surprises with war. They can be very bad surprises. I mean, wars are lost that should be won. Many wars are lost. You think a country's going to wipe somebody out and they end up getting wiped out themselves. So it's always risky. But I think a tremendous mistake was when NATO just wasn't there. They just weren't there. It's going to make a lot of money for the United States because we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO, hundreds of protecting them. And we would have always been there for them. But now, based on their actions, I guess we don't have to be, do we?
Mr. President.
That sounds like a breaking story, yes, sir. Is that breaking news? Not sticking together. I think that NATO made a terrible mistake when they wouldn't send a small amount of military armament, when they wouldn't send, just even acknowledge what we were doing for the world and taking on Iran. I never considered it very risky, but war is always risk. You know, a lot of strange things happen in war that are very bad, but I didn't consider it. I know how great I'm. We're the greatest military by far. Anywhere there was nobody close. I didn't think there was a big risk, but there's always surprises with war. They can be very bad surprises. I mean, wars are lost that should be won. Many wars are lost. You think a country's going to wipe somebody out and they end up getting wiped out themselves. So it's always risky. But I think a tremendous mistake was when NATO just wasn't there. They just weren't there. It's going to make a lot of money for the United States because we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO, hundreds of protecting them. And we would have always been there for them. But now, based on their actions, I guess we don't have to be, do we?
Mr. President.
That sounds like a breaking story, yes, sir. Is that breaking?
Yeah, so you saw that off Instagram. Yeah, Bible prophecy being fulfilled. World War III has already begun. All right, it's not fully popped off yet, but we're very close indeed. Shalom wa Ashar Shabbath to the elect of the nation of Yasha. All praises, honor, and glory is forever due unto Abanawa Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Waha Rachaha Kodash. Double honor goes out to the elder apostles and the elder bishops and the elders at the Great Millstone GMS who rule well and who teach well, labouring in this word and doctrine. And salutations to the hopeful elect out there noising this gospel abroad and lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, wherever they are located at in sincerity and in truth. Abba Ratazah, which means Father willing. So Father willing, this lesson is edifying. So yeah, all right. You know, you heard all that, man. Okay. Yeah, we're in the last days. Okay, things are happening. All right. Trump announced that the US is leaving NATO because European nations refuse to join his war against Iran. The US empire is withdrawing and becoming isolated on world stage. That's good. An example of how an idiot brought down a superpower. Yeah, from Instagram. Okay. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast," okay, NATO and the EU, "these shall hate the whore, which is America, Babylon the Great, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Nuclear missiles. Alright. So I've got this from the greatmillstone.info website. Alright. Again, the whore is the USA. Alright. The beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. Alright. 10 horns represent the common market of the European Economic Community, EEC, established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. All right. Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, West Germany. Right? It says NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that's what it's an acronym for. It was established August the 4th, 1949, consisting of 19 nations: Greece, Italy, Spain, France, West Germany, United Kingdom, Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Canada, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Turkey, United States, Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic. These nations make up NATO, which is the beast. All right. So yeah, he's making moves, to depart from that agreement or that friendship, meaning that any of these nations at any time can now be a target by Donald Trump. Okay. And they could also target the US. All right. So there you go. Okay. All right, that great dragon goes into Esau Edom and his major world empires. Esau Edom being the so-called WHITE man, right? The Caucasian man, all right? Red Hebrew E, all right? Germanium Major, all right? Germanium Minor, the British, the Greeks, Spanish, French, the Romans, all right? Yeah. Seven heads, seven governments or kingdoms ruled by Esau, yeah. Oh, that rides the beast. Okay. Yeah, so these shall hate the whore, man. All these countries that's been on this list, that was part of NATO, one by one, they, will hate America and target America, and America will, target them. This December is supposed to be the automatic registration for the United States military draft, right? They will automatically select people. It used to be voluntary, back then, when you put your name on the list and, the procedure, how to do it, etc., etc., all right? Coming this December, it will place people automatically on the system. And that's not far, right? We're more than halfway in August already. Got September, October, November, December. So yeah, just a little over 3 months. Okay. And even Donald Trump has made threats towards Mexico and trying to bomb them and things like that. All right. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Chapter 55. And verse 21. Yeah. And it reads, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." Okay. So war has always been on this devil's mind. Okay. Let's go into the word heart. Inner man, mind, will, heart, understanding. Heart of man, soul, mind, knowledge, thinking, reflection, memory, inclination, conscience. These devils have a conscience. Heart of moral character. Far from moral. All right. Okay. Yeah. Inner part, inclination, resolution, determination of will. Yeah. The elite's determined to have everybody sea-hipped, don't they? All right. Iran being has been one of the number one targets because that's one of the few nations remaining that doesn't have a central bank established, is what I meant to say. All right. So really, there's a puppeteer pulling the strings. Trump, is the major puppet being used right now. Right. His strings are being pulled for the agenda of the elites, the Amalekites, man, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts. right? The Oppenheimers, the, small hat banking dynasty families, all right? They want the new world order established, the satanic, evil, demonic new world order established. They can't rest until they've done wickedness. That's E for you. They will never be satisfied, no matter what. Okay. This great war will take place in our lifetime, World War III. All right. Let's go to the book of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 38. We'll start at the top. Prophecy about Gog and future invasion of Israel. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armour, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Yeah. Okay. So the Lord will pull all these different nations over to the so-called Middle East for the great showdown. Right? Armageddon. Or sorry. Harmageddon. Alright? Silaki for that. Alright, Mountain of Troops. Alright? In the Hebrew. So yeah, the Lord will pull all these different nations over to the so-called Middle East for the great showdown. Alright? One of, Iran's greatest allies is Russia. So Russia will eventually step in once there's boots on the ground, man. Okay? It's going to be a guard to them nations. The Lord is putting that former Soviet spirit, USSR, back on, onto Russia. Okay? See? So a lot of threats from Iran to US soil this time. Okay? So keep watching and remain cautious. We are, sheep in the midst of wolves. So we ought to move, wisely. Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Okay. Yeah. It's about to go down. Yeah. China, North Korea. Alright. Yeah. America's own allies are going to turn on them. Okay. American dollar's being devalued day by day. As well. Yeah, so they're going to go into the valley of Yehoshaphat, man. Alright. We know America's going to be destroyed by fire. It'll take the Lord 1 hour to do so. Alright. But ultimately, the Lord is against, these heathen nations as well. Alright. Lord is just using Russia for his purpose. Okay. Yeah. So, I'm going to end the lesson there. Lord willing, this reaches whoever needs to hear it. Okay, and that it was edifying to the elect. Alright. In closing, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Waha, Rachaha Kodash, Shalom Wa Ashar, Shabaf. Okay. Wa Abad Babal.